And joining us now, Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware. He's a member of the Foreign Relations Committee and recently returned from a trip to the Middle East. Perfect timing to have you on. We'll also talk about the president's trip to the border, but I want to stay on this. How does President Biden make clear our commitment to Israel, but also to innocent civilians here caught in the middle of this horrendous war?
Good morning, Mika. Many of us here in the Senate are communicating forcefully, both through in-person meetings with Israel's Prime Minister, President, Ambassador, with whom I'll meet later today, and with our own President, Joe Biden, the urgency of addressing the crushing humanitarian needs of Gaza. Yesterday, I met with the sister of one of the hostages who are being held in the tunnels beneath Gaza by Hamas. It bears repeating that those hostages have been there 145 days and that Hamas could end this almost any time by releasing the hostages and achieving a ceasefire deal with Israel. Israel could make a significant change almost any day that would improve the humanitarian relief and access for the millions of Palestinians in Gaza who are suffering as a result of this war. When I had a chance to meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu in Israel, I pressed him on being clear that he will lose support in the Senate and from the United States if he goes ahead with a ground offensive at scale into Rafah. Prime Minister Netanyahu says he has to finish the job, that there are 4 Hamas combat brigades still sheltering, still active in Rafah. And while I understand and respect the obligation of Israel to defend their citizens against a renewed attack by Hamas, how he can possibly separate out these fighters from the millions of refugees who have fled to Rafah from other parts of Gaza, I don't understand. So I have pressed the Qatari leadership, Egyptian leadership, Israeli leadership to reach a hostage deal and ceasefire before Ramadan. I know President Biden has been dedicating a huge amount of time and energy and effort to encouraging that ceasefire and hostage deal. Let us all pray that that's what happens in the coming days. It would unlock opportunities in Lebanon and in Iraq as well that were an important part of my visits there. Senator Blumenthal was with me for these visits, and the stability of Jordan, the stability of Lebanon, the possibility of a reduction in violence along the northern border of Israel, where Hezbollah is firing rockets and attacking Israeli civilians every day, and the IDF is responding. And in Iraq, where American troops are exposed. We are still there as part of the counter-ISIS mission, and we need to do a stronger job of defending our troops in that region. We can deploy modern systems to help protect them from drones. President Biden took decisive steps after the death of 3 American reservists who were killed at Tower 22 in Jordan. And as a result, we've now enjoyed weeks of no further attacks by the Iranian militia. But Mika, make no mistake, this is a complex and difficult situation where we are at a hinge point of history. The United States needs to show that we are on the side of the humanitarian relief demands of Gazans, and that we are not going to abandon the Middle East and allow Iran to simply overrun portions of Lebanon, Iraq, Jordan, and the rest of the region.